I went and got the telegram, and I laid it on the counter in the kitchen, and he had died.
Who, Grandpa Dead's?
Grandpa Joe. Yeah. He was real tall. And my mother said Jerry looked like him. And I believe it.
Jerry looked like your dad's dad?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what she said. He looks like your grandfather.
And John Henry died when Grandpa was about 9.
He remembered him.
15, I'm sorry. 15 or 16.
He remembered him.
Did they live in Pontiac?
No, they lived down in Mount Pulaski.
Okay.
And I think he might be buried out there in Stevenberg. I don't know where he's buried. But I know that because he said he remembered his grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
He told me that once. He liked his dad. He really cared for him deeply, but he always said, that's terrible to talk about your mother that way, but he said, she was the meanest woman in the world, and he said, and I said, what'd she do? Well, Joe would go out and get walnuts in the fall of the year to find them, and then she'd throw them in the fire, and if he had he chewed tobacco, and if he had a plug of tobacco, and she found it, she'd throw that in the fire. Oh, he said she was mean. And she sent Joe over on hot days to hoe the garden. I bet H.H. never hoed any garden. He was gay.
Oh yeah, H.H. was.
Yeah. And my dad said he didn't like his style. And I didn't know what that was for a long time. Until I got older.
And then what about Ruth?
He didn't like her either.
What did she do?
Well, she married that Julius Vanderleith. She's married to him. They eloped and got married. And they, Vanderleiths were prominent people in Mount Pulaski. They built windmills. They don't sound like Providence now, but people had windmills then. And they built, I know that's one thing they did. But then he sang, he was bass singer in the quartet my dad was in. And he said he was good too. And she married him, and then she got a divorce. And that's when she went to California with Leonore. And then she came back, and then she worked in Chicago, Abbott Laboratories. And my dad said she got a real good job up there. And she met this guy, and he said she thought he had money, and he thought she had money, and neither one of them had any money. That's what my dad said. She thought he was a doctor, and he wasn't a doctor. And anyway, she married him, and then she divorced him. She was only in her early 40s when she died. She had cancer.
Well, her sister-in-law was Vonda Leith.
Was a cousin. Julius was his, just a friend. Then, and he sang in that, he sang bass in the quartet. And, what were we talking?
It was, Vonda Leith was.
Oh, that was
her sister-in-law.
That was Julius's sister.
Yes.
That was his sister. And she went to California. And this is what my mother said. Leonore talked Ruth into divorcing Julius and getting some money. And so she did. And then she took the money. Leonore didn't have any money. So she had Ruth spend the money to go to California. And Ruth did. And then Ruth, they ran out of money, and Ruth came back, and then Leonore stayed out there. Now that's what my mother said. And I don't know how much truth there is to it.
But Vonda Leith.
And then she changed her name. Her last name was Vanderleith, and she changed it to Vaughn to Leith.
Well, I thought she was
Leonore.
She was the first one who sang Ukulele Lady.
Right.
in 1927.
That's right. That's
And I-
Leonore.
Yes.
That's real. They're Leonore von der Leeth. That's who that is. She sang a lot of songs. If you look at her biography, she sang a lot of songs.
Yeah,
I don't know if she ever got married or
my
not.
friends were
Never heard him say.
they were so excited to hear that
What?
Von der Leeth was the one who.
Somebody you knew?
Yeah.
You the story?
Uh-huh.
What'd you tell him?
I told him just what you just said, and Bill, the leader, he was so thrilled to hear that. He was
What?
so excited.
What'd he say?
Teresa has an interesting story.
That's a true story.
I know.
Yeah, Ruth and Leonore. Did you tell him her name is Leonore?